Okay, as we come towards the end of the parak, so we're at the last Mishnah, right? The last Mishnah? Yeah, the last Mishnah. Mamish the tail end. Okay, but it's an interesting Mishnah. Ay, ay, ay. No, I forgot something. Sugya. Oh, gewaldig. Sagt the Mishnah. Mishnah talks about other dinim of a melech, but I think that there's a connection to this week's parsha. Ein roichvin al suso ve'en yoishvin al kiso. You're not allowed to ride the horse of the melech. You're not allowed to sit on the throne of the melech. Ve'en mishtamshin bisharvito, and you're not allowed to use his wand. Ve'en royin oisoi kshu mistaper. You're not allowed to see the melech when he's not fully wearing and mechubad, which is including getting a haircut. V'lo kshu arum, and not when he's naked. V'lo kshu bebeis hamerchas, and this is why the minig has developed that we don't go to mikvos when rabbanim go to mikvos. You have separate, right? You learn in yeshiva, you have separate hours for the right. That's when all the guys try to get in. Yeah, exactly. Right, exactly. The Mishnah doesn't say, it's also awkward. But below kshuva beis hamerchatz shene'emar som tasim alecha melech, because the pasuk says som tasim alecha melech shetehei emaso alecha. So the din is, the Mishnah quotes a few different dinim, but the underlying theme of the Mishnah is you're not allowed to use the objects of a melech. You're not allowed to use the items of a melech. It's not just these types of items. And the Gemara starts off saying, Amar Rav Yaakov, Amar Rav Yochanan, Avishag muteres l'shlomo va'asura la'adonia. Who's Avishag? What is this talking about? So what's interesting, the Maharsha is a fascinating parish. Maharsha is, first of all, has Gavaldiga Chidushim, but the Maharsha also just gives you like missing context in order to understand like what, to fill in the blanks, just what the Gemara is doing. So here's an example that you kind of need the Maharsha to even understand what the Gemara's agenda is with this statement of Avishag muteres l'shlomo va'asura la'adoniyahu. We're about to discuss an entire sugya about the story with Avishag. Just to give a little background, Avishag was a Nara Yafa, a beautiful woman who was brought at the end of David HaMelech's life in order to be Mechamim David HaMelech, to give him strength as he was very weak, and she was going to be Mesharis and serve David HaMelech. And after David HaMelech passed on, Adoniyahu wanted to marry Avishag. So Zok the Maharsha over here, Nirish Sheba Losis Tam Bamesh Nischayiv Adoniyahu Misa. So the Maharsha, knowing the Psukim and Malachim, says you need this Gemara. This Gemara is coming to explain to us something that we don't really understand from the Psukim, that Shlomo HaMelech, after Adoniyahu requested to marry Avishag, Shlomo HaMelech wanted to give him Misa. Why? What did he do wrong? So Zok the Maharsha, and this is the connection with our Mishnah. We just said that what? That you're not allowed to use the items of a melech. Included in not using the items of a melech is not using the people that serve the melech, which was Avishag. So says the Gemara, Nira Shabalasi is tam b'manis chayev adoniyo misa. B'mashabikesh es Avishag lo leisha. He requested Avishag to marry. V'amar lefisha ha'isa asura lehedyot. Mishum sharvito shal melech. He says you can't marry her because this is someone that David HaMelech used to serve him. V'im kein k'sheshal also al korchach she'adayin hichzik atzmo lemelech. So Shlomo HaMelech gave him a shtoch. Shlomo HaMelech says, look at what he's saying. You're requesting Avishag? Oh, but doesn't the Mishnah in Sanhedrin Chav Beis and Aleph say that Sharvito Shel Melech is also lehedyot? No one could use the items of a melech. Must be that what? Implication is that you call yourself a melech. Sagt Shlomo Melech, you're married b'malchus, you should be chayiv misa. By you requesting Avishag, you are being married b'malchus. You're now calling yourself a melech as opposed to me being the melech. V'havaleke married b'melech Shlomo. V'zeh shekol zav lama shoyelis es Avishag ladonio. That's what Shlomo Melech meant in his chachma digaway. Why are you asking for Avishag? It was a very strong statement and had another meaning, another layer of meaning to it. V'shali lo es hamalucha ki bezeh shesholosa hu shol es hamalucha. Because if you're asking for her, your implication is that you're a melech. So then you're being murdered by my malchus. Shari asur lehedyet.
Why should we do Shlomo? Meaning he's a melech now, but David was the melech. So isn't she now not mutter to anybody?
So Sharvito Shal Melech is mutter lemelech. So Shlomo HaMelech is mutter.
He wasn't melech at that point yet either.
But Shlomo...
Meaning Shlomo wasn't Adoniah fighting for the throne, wasn't it like...
Yeah, but Shlomo HaMelech held himself that he was going to be the king. So that's why... So it would be mutter for Shlomo HaMelech as he was the melech. But the shaila is, so that's what the Gemara is now to develop. So that's only true if what? If there was no nisuin and connection and marriage between Avishag and David HaMelech. So now the Gemara is going to have to clarify, okay, now we understand the background of what Shlomo HaMelech wanted with Adoniyahu about Avishag, but what about Shlomo HaMelech himself with Avishag? Why is he mutter? Isn't it Eshes David HaMelech? So the Gemara says, no, for Shlomo HaMelech would be muteres l'Shlomo. Why? The Melech Haya, the Melech Mishtamash b'Sharvito Shemelech, v'asura l'Adoniyahu, the Hedyotu. So now the Gemara clarifies that now we want to know what is the story with Avishag, which ultimately would even assume, is Shlomo HaMelech allowed to use her only as a Meshares, or would Shlomo HaMelech even be allowed to marry her? Because if there was Ishus to David, so then that's Eshes Aviv, and that would be someone that's Aser Ba'arayus to the son. Avishag Mahi, what's the story with Avishag? Tichsiv, so one second, just before I go weiter, just for connection to the Parsha, I happen to fall upon this Meshech Chochmah. Meshech Chochmah says in the end of this week's Parsha, Parshas Lech Lecha, Vatitein oisa la'Avram isha. And Sarah gave Hagar to Avram for a shifcha, because she realized she wasn't able to have children. So at least lefachos, you should have my shifcha. B'medrash, on that pasuk, the medrash says, Loi v'loi la'acher. It's for him and not for anyone else. V'hakavona. The mefurish v'hedrash v'chein b'Yerushalmi Kiddushin. 1 second. The b'benoyach oihu megarsha, ohi megarsha. So lakach amru shekan lo tuchal lios la'acher leisha af im yegarsha. Even if Avram Avinu does not stay with her, the Mada Omer Emek HaMelech Sheimlichu Al Kol HaOlam, because the Medrash in Bereshis Rabbah refers to Avram Avinu as being the Melech Al Kol HaOlam. Imkein Yesh Lo Din Melech. So he has a din of a Melech. Sha'oser, listen to Meshech Chochmah. I didn't make this up. I didn't put this into the Meshech Chochmah this week, or decide to learn this week. Sheimkein Oser Lishtamish B'Sharvito. Because once he uses her as the shivcha, so she's also to everyone else. K'mafurish beperek beis, the Sanhedrin. Thank you, Rav Meir Simcha, who's apparently learning with us in this sugya. Kabe Melech l'kaman finds Dr. Meshech Chochmah. That was what the pshat in the Medrash in this week's parsha. Why once Avram Avinu takes Hagar, since Avram Avinu had a din melech, it would be usher for anyone else to use her. Okay. Zok the Gemara. So what's the story over here? Melech David zakin ba bayamim. So Melech David was old. Vayomer lo avodav, and his avodav said to him, Yivakshu, they should request someone to be mishtamish with the Melech to help him. Uksiv vayivakshu nara yafa, and it says that they requested a nara yafa. Uksiv nara yafa ad ma'od. And it says in the pasuk that the Nara was very, very pretty. Vatihila melech sokenes, vatishar seyu. And she was helping and warming the melech, and she served him. Why does it need to be a Nara Yafa? So this is an interesting Aruch Laner. The Aruch Laner says on our Gemara that David HaMelech wanted, it's a very difficult Aruch Laner to understand, he put himself in a very difficult predicament to dafka have someone that's very pretty and very tempting, so that he would, like the Gemara tells us, to do tshuva you have to put yourself ba'oso makom, ba'oso zman, with the same type of test. He wanted to do tshuva on the chait that he did with Bathsheba. So in order, he felt, I guess, that the reason why he is sick and this is happening to him is because of what he did, and he wanted to do tshuva. So it would only be real tshuva, says the Aruch Laner, if it was an Nara Yafa. So that's why they had, because the Aruch Laner is bothered if they're just getting someone to just help him out, so get anyone. So he wanted bedafka Nara Yafa ad moed. Amra, so she says, 1 second, Ninsabin. She says, well, are we getting married? Amrla asirusly. He said to her, I can't marry you because you're usher to me. Amrle, what? Good, beautiful. So why did David, so let's just finish the story, let's get back to what Eitan's saying. Amrle, so she did not take that well. Chasre leganve nafshi lishlama nakat. So that's Rashi. She dissed him. She'aganav chaser. She'eno motzem makom lignov. When the ganav is, he's a ganav. He's a bad person. And he can't find a makom to steal. Machzik atzmo ba'anava. He makes himself into a tzaddik and into a humble person. Ki'ish shalom, like a peaceful man. Kalaymer mipnei zakanta. So what was she saying? What was she shtaching to him? Really, you want to do Averis. That's why you're saying to me that I'm usher to you. She was very upset. Apparently, she was brought into the picture thinking that she was going to marry the king. And now she's all excited and she says, okay, where's the chuppah? And he says, what do you mean, what chuppah? You're usher to me. So she got very insulted and she responded that back. Good. So what happened? So Vaksiv, what happened next? Amr Lahu, he said to them, what's the next step? Karuli Bathsheba. Vaksiv atavo Bathsheba lamelech hachadara. And they brought Bathsheba, and what happened? And they were together. Amr Rav Yehuda Amarav ba'isa shah. Kincha Bathsheba shalosh esrei mapos. Basically, they were together a few times, and she had to be mekaneach between each tashmish. How do we know that they were together 13 times? Says Rashi, Kincha Bathsheba sheba alea yud gimel bios umekaneches, and she did bdikas between each tashmish v'tashmish. Ubemikrazek suvim shlosha esrei tevos. Vatavo Bathsheba el Hamelech hachadera v'Hamelech zokin ma'od v'Avisha gashunamis misharis Hamelech. Says Rashi, how do you know that it was together 13 times? We have a Messiah because the pasuk has 13 times, 13 psukim. Where's the pasuk? Yud Gimel. You all have the pasuk there. So Vatavo Bathsheba. Let's count together. Vatavo Bathsheba el Hamelech hachadera v'Hamelech zokin ma'od v'Avisha gashunamis Mishares es Hamelech. It's 12. It's 12.
No, you said that, I think you said twice. Et Hamelech.
No, I know what I did. I know what I did. Moyer Rabbi Isai, we have a problem with the count. Rashi says she was with him 13 times, and there are only 12 words in the pasuk.
You counted Et Hamelech as one.
I counted Es Hamelech as 2, Adi. I know what my mistake was. Rabbi, so let's do it again. Okay. And I'm only doing this because I'm not trying to play accounting games. This has real ramifications. Vatavo Bathsheba el Hamelech hachadara v'Hamelech zokin ma'od v'Avisha gashunamis misharis es Hamelech. Zok the Ber Hativ in Hilchos Gittin, how you write Bathsheba in a get, which is no chas v'shalom, it should be everything no get to a get. But how do you write the name Bathsheba? You see from our Gemara and Rashi that says 13 times, Bathsheba is 2 words. That's a psak in Even Ezer. Batsheva is 2 words. Otherwise, the count doesn't make sense. Mamish. Otherwise, we have 12 words. Batsheva is 2 words. That's how to write Batsheva. It's not 2. Big debate amongst the mothers and the fathers and the Azoy Zok the Ber Hativ from this. I didn't tell my wife yet, but yeah, exactly. Weiter. Okay. So let's go back to Eitan's Pa'ar. What? It's the same dinam. Ksiva Shemus is, for the for Adiz Misha Berachs, it's okay. It sounds the same, but.
Hyphen is the Shviel Azov. What's the?
You got hyphen. Hyphen is a separation, but you gotta have a separation. Yeah. Fine. So what does the Gemara say? So let's go back in the story. So David HaMelech says, I'm sorry, I can't be with you, but he told her why? Because asirasli. So Rabbi Yisai, this is very important for us. And these are sugyas that we learn together. Zok the Ran on the handouts. Exactly what Eitan said. The reason why David HaMelech said, I can't marry you, Perish shekvar nasa chai noshim. Because I already have 18 wives. Now, Rabbi Yisai, okay, you already have 18 wives. So at least be with her, because a melech is mutter with a what? With a pilegesh. The Rambam Shita is that what? Melech is the only one that's mutter in a pilegesh. So why can't Melech Moshe Rabbeinu be with a pilegesh? Zok the Heilige Ram. This is a raya to Shitas HaRambam. Shitas HaRambam that we learned together. The Rambam Shita is that pilagshim are included in the 18 wives. It's 18 of any nashim / pilagshim. We explained why that should be, because the Rambam holds that there is a status of ishus with a pilegesh, and there's a chalois kiddushin without a maisa kiddushin. The Rambam says the only time a pilegesh is mutter is with a melech, and Amar of Riyah, the Rambam compares it to. Sir Chaim Brisker explained that there could be a chalois ishus without a maisa ishus, but at the end of the day, there is some sort of ishus when it comes to a pilegesh, and perhaps you would even need a get for the melech to divorce the pilegesh. So therefore, the Gemara reads like a charm according to the Rambam. So bein beishus, bein bepilagshus, there was no heter over here. But the Ravid that argues on the Rambam, and the Ravid that argues on the Rambam, Rabbi Yisai, and we pointed out, if you remember, this doesn't only emanate from the machlokes by melech. This really stems from what? Machlokes in what the isser of a zoyne is. Stam, a person to be with a woman. So the Rambam and the Ravid had a machlokes whether or not to stam be with a regular woman. Would that be the isser of kedesha? The Rambam had a much more chomer version of znus. To be without a woman with kedushin would potentially be a serious isser of kedesha. And the Ravid holds no, as long as it's not mufkeres, if it's not mufkeres lekach, so then it wouldn't be an isser. The Ravid L'shitaso holds that a pilegesh wouldn't be an isser, but it's not because there's a chalais ishus. It's just this isn't a mufker example. So therefore, the Ravid L'shitaso argues with the Rambam about whether or not pilegesh is only usher to a melech, and also argues whether or not pilegesh is included in the Yud Ches Davar, because if you hold pilegesh as a heter and kulam, so there's not a special leniency l'gabe malchus. This is not a chiddush that the melech has the ability to have a relationship with a pilegesh. Everyone could have a pilegesh because it's not mufkeres. So therefore, the Ravid disagrees and does not include the pilagshim in the 18 numbers because there is no chalois ishus that is necessary in order to be mater the isser according to Shitas HaRavid. But then the question is, Rabbi Yisai, if that's correct, so how does the Ravid read our Gemara? If there was an option, so according to the Ravid, why didn't the David HaMelech say you're muteresly b'toras pilagshis, but not b'toras ishus? What? What's?
That's not tshuva.
Yeah. So you have to know if the Ravid is meshubah to the Aruch Liner. So Eitan's saying if the Aruch Liner is correct, so his whole point was to be able to withstand. So Eitan's right. So you're saying, yeah, but he's saying asirasli. It's a good shot. But David HaMelech, he needs to really this girl wants marriage. You need to just not, you can't, what are you going to say to her? I'm a tzaddik? You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to do tshuva. So she's going to say back to you, she just got a ton of insults over here. She's going to throw it at you. So you need something. So David HaMelech needed to fight her off with atasir talih. So says the Ran, let's go. Let's see the Ran. Chen Kosav Rambam. The Ran says, Perishik Kfar Nosach, Chai Noshim, Vim Tomer, Velizbel, Lepiglegesh, Tertzu Amisper, Yudches, Heim, Benoshim, Vipilagshim. Chen Kosav Rambam, Zal, Perigimel, Milchus Melachim, the Gemara reads Gvaldik, according to Shittas Rambam. The Hikshal said, Dov Nosar, Ritz, Babas, Ayah, Dichsives, Neshe, Adonecha, Bechekecha, Velekla, Memer, Shenosa, Bechupa, Vikadushin, Dim, Kain, Avalu, Sheva, Vikarmele, Navi, Kaheno, Lefichach, Perishik, the Enachanami. That's the Ravid's Raya, Fichach, Perishik, the Enachanami. Pilagshim don't count in the count. The imnisratzis avishag lios pilegish haya mutter ba ela shaloi nisratzis lios pilegish. Given shaloi nisratzis haya aser ba. No, it was a problem because what? She thought she was being brought in for marriage, and she wanted marriage. She doesn't want to be the pilegish of the melech. She wants to be the wife of the melech, and she wasn't masculine. So you do see a chiddush. Could be that according to the Rambam, and I think it's mashma in the Rambam if we remember what we learned. Rambam holds that a pilegish, I think, could be taken balkarcha, against her will. Because I don't need her maisa kiddushin, her das. I could just create, and I could just be with her, and that's the chalais of blood. The Ravid, in order to learn this Gemara, is going to have to hold a pilegish is not counted in the 18 wives, and it's not chalos nisuin, but pilagshus, in order to get out of this kashi, has to be machadish. Pilagshus has to be bertzona. It can't be against her will. It's fascinating because, if anything, I would have said the reverse. The one who looks at Pilagshus as not Ishus related, intuitively I would have said, oh, so then you could probably even take her Balkarcha. That's the will of the Melech. He could do whatever he wants. It's not the case. The Ravid who gets stuck from this Gemara and needs to say some other pshat has to come out with a chiddush that even though it's not one of your wives and it's not a relationship like that, it is usher to do against her will. What? So the Melech, the Rambam writes, the Melech has the ability to control the land, has the ability to take your children and to take your kids part of the army and to take your property, and that's part of the sovereignty of the Melech. Yeah.
Why do you have to read the right that way? Meaning it was her. She was the one who wanted to be a pilegish. It wasn't that he was trying to force to take her.
She didn't want to be a pilegish.
No, I mean she wanted to marry him, so
right.
The only option is a pilegish.
Right, and she didn't.
It wasn't a situation of David trying to force her into marriage or pilegish. It was something that she wanted, so he said, the option B is for a pilegish.
You want to say that really, according to the Ravid, it would be mutter to take Bal Karcha, but just David HaMelech wasn't interested. That's what you're saying.
I mean, based on the storyline of the Gemara, it would seem that way.
Din this ratzis avisha lias pilegish hayam mutter ba. L'shnos raz lias pilegish v'gevin shalon es ratzis. No, why is that aser ba? No.
No, it's still usher.
Why? It's not aser ba. Let her take her. Must be that it's aser to take her Bal Karcha. Right? He's trying to explain David HaMelech's lashon to say at asirt. Right. So the only way for you to say it's at asirt is to say that pilegish Bal Karcha is aser. Fine. So that's just in terms of that shlav in the Gemara. Fine. So what did they do? So what they did? She served David HaMelech. So now the Gemara says something fascinating. Amar of Shaman bar Abba, Bo ure'eh, Kama koshin gerishin, Shar David HaMelech yitiru lo liyached, v'lo yitiru lo ligaresh. And now the Gemara goes in to a very sensitive sugya, discussing gerishin, and discussing the difference between Ishus Rishona, Zivug Rishon, and Zivug Sheni. I just had the schus to sit all day with Rav Asher Weiss Shlita, and it was a very unique experience. I've been with him many times, but I've never had the ability to sit with him after he lost his wife. And it was he got emotional at times when he was talking about certain inyanim, and I was thinking mamish about this Gemara, about Eishus Neurim, that there's a certain connection the Gemara is going to talk about, that the Zivug Rishon has, that the Zivug from the Baskol Yotzes, Bas Ploni Leploni, that there's a certain connection that the Gemara talks about Gerishin from that marriage even stronger than a later marriage. and it's hard, and we should really look at this Gemara in terms of sensitivity. I was talking to someone earlier this week about the dilemma that many people have, Nebuch, Rahman al-Itzlan, that they have when they have to stand at a juncture that on the one hand they want to go on with their lives, but on the other hand there's a difficulty that it seems like a betrayal to the Zivug Rishon, and it's and this Gemara really talks about how the tsar from a Zivug to lose a spouse, there's just it's not replaceable. Ad kedei kach that the Gemara sounds like it's even harder than a child, because children, you could always have more children, but you can never have the Eshes Neurim. You can never have that's a Zivug Rishon, and that's what the Gemara is stressing in the common denominator of the Gemara. It's not to say that Gerushin is usher. It's not to say that Gerushin is not an option. But you see from the entire Gemara, and it's a Kedai Gemara to go through slowly from all the drushes to the psukim, kama kosha Gerushin, that you should try not to jump into a divorce, and how the Mizbeach is going to cry when there is a divorce, and that's really the tachlis, and Shem Shemayim is broken when there's a divorce happens. So we should try to keep these marriages as much as we can. This Gemara is in line with the Gemara in Gittin. The Gemara in Gittin on Daf Tzadi says, Machlokes Beis Shammai Beis Hillel. There's a three-way Machlokes Tanoim. Machlokes Beis Shammai Beis Hillel Rabbi Akiva, the last Mishnah in Gittin on Daf Tzadi. Beis Shammai holds you're never allowed to divorce your wife unless you find that she was promiscuous, and there was something that you found matzah ervas davar. But if you did not find that, so then it's usher for you to be megarish your wife. That's what the Mishnah sounds like. Beis Hillel says, no, that's not true. It's not totally on being motzeh ervas davar. It's not only if she was promiscuous, but also if she was makdiach es hatavshil, if she messed up the food a few times, says Beis Hillel. But according to Beis Hillel, you need something that she messed up, and it can't just be once. The Mefarshim explain that she's taka. There's problems. There's the example is makdiach es hatavshil. So she messed up the tavshil a few times, but obviously that means that the house is not functioning properly, and there's a good reason why we're getting divorced. And Rabbi Akiva says, no, you don't need a reason at all. Afilu matzah misha noicha himeno. Even if you find someone who's better, you're allowed to divorce your wife. So we do not assume like Rabbi Akiva that you need a reason. Wow. Say the Shagas Aryeh was giving shir, and Shagas Aryeh's mahalach was to argue on a lot of different svarim and rishonim and svarim, and I think they say that he was going up, and as he was, so I'd like to stop talking about this right now, but that was terrifying. Wow.
Doesn't stick in. We tried twice.
Okay.
Enough tries.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Some guy just.
I'm not going to go up again.
Shlichtir, I'm not giving you this shear again. It's like 5 feet away from it. Wow. That's a pachad. Okay.
Exactly where I stand.
That's very scary. I'm not going to even ask what I was talking about, because whatever I was talking about, I don't want to talk about it anymore. But okay, fine. So let's go back to the Gemara. So the Gemara says, "Kama kosher legerish." Shari David Amelech hitiru lo liyachid, v'lo hitiru lo legarish. They were matir her to be miyachid, but they were not matir to be megarish. So first of all, let's just think about another sugya that really came up, I think, in the same realm. We had a shaila. What's the din when it comes to yichud on someone that's aser and tashvish with you? So what do I mean aser and tashvish with you? If you have yichud on an erva, on someone that's in arayos with you, so that's for sure an issa d'oraisa, and that might even be Yarag Val Yaver, you might have to even give up your life, right? That might be an Abizrayu, Darayus, whatever. But what's this case? Is this an Erva, Avishag? No, it's not an Erva. She's a Pnuya, but technically she's Usser to me. Why is she Usser to me?
It's more than the Yuchat.
Because it's more than the Yudches. So this should be similar to a Shaila we asked, Rabbi say. What happened? Not Nida, because Nida, according to the Rambam, is an Erva, and that's the way the Shulchan Aruch paskins, not like Rabbeinu Tam. Not Isra Asay, but Chayve Lavim, Koyin. Right. What is the din if you have someone that, if I get married to her, a Koyin with a Grusha, the marriage is a marriage. It's a horrible ceremony, it's a horrible simcha, but it's a marriage. It takes effect, and the children, it's a full-fledged marriage. If she with another man, the children will be mamzerim. It's an eshes ish. It takes effect. The good kedushin's a good kedushin. What is the din on yichud with such an iser? She's not an erva, but she's a chayve lavim. She's usher in bia. So, is there a yichud deoraisa on such a person, or is there not a yichud deoraisa on such a person? So the Prisha held that there's yichud on chayve lavim, because yichud is fundamentally, it's a fundamental question. What is yichud based on? Is yichud based on anything that could lead up to a bia asura, and that the Torah now assered it not only bia but also with yichud? So then you should apply it even to someone who's technically not an erva. Or no, it's an extrapolation of being an erva. Only someone who has an erva, that's someone who has the Isser Yichud, and that's the opinion of many, many poskim. That's the debate in the beginning of Siman Chav Beis. I think it's the first Beis Shmuel in Siman Chav Beis of whether or not there's an Isser Yichud to Chayve Lavin. Someone who I'm Usser in Tashmish, will there be an Isser Yichud Minat Torah? So Chayra, you should have a raya from this Gemara. What's the Gemara saying here? Kama koshe gerishin, and the Gemara is assuming over here that yichud, hetiru yichud, zakt Rashi, im avishag afal pishaneser yichud shel pnuya. Even though they aser yichud with a pnuya. When did they aser yichud with a pnuya, Rabbi Yisai? When did they aser yichud with a pnuya? Yeah, in the times of David HaMelech. They aser yichud with a pnuya on daf Chaf, no? Yeah. On Chaf Alpha Mabez at the top. Oh, wow. Chaf Alpha Mabez at the top. Gozru al Yichud Pnuya. After the story with Amnon and Tamar, they said this is bad. This is a bad policy. We got to make sure that this doesn't happen. And even though Minat Torah, this is someone that's totally mutter, and a Yichud with a Pnuya would have been totally mutter. Again, Rabbosai, leaving out what I said when we learned that sugya. Nida was not an issue over there because everyone was going to the mikvah for Taurus. So there was no yichud with a Nida. There was a separate shaila of an Isha Tahira from Nida. And now I want to know, can I be misyachid with a Pnuya, with a single girl? Guy and girl wants to hang out, and she's totally muteres because she went to the mikvah already, because she has to go. Anytime she goes into the Beis HaMikdash, she would go into the mikvah. Or anytime she would eat truma or eat kachim, she would go to the mikvah. So she was anyways tahor. So there was a separate shaila of yichud pnuya. We don't have a separate shaila isur d'rabbanan of yichud pnuya, because any of our girls, once they had adolescence, they're anyways nida. So there's going to be an isur d'oraisa, it's the yichud with the erva, because we assume nida is one of the ervas. That's the way it's passed in the Shulchan Aruch. Fine. So over here, Rashi is calling this only an isur d'rabbanan of yichud with the pnuya. So I don't understand. But if you hold like the Parisha, that yichud with Yisurim is what? Chayve, just like Chayve Lavim, this woman is also to me, so there should be yichud d'oraisa. It shouldn't be only yichud pnuya. So if you remember, there's a Minchas Chinuch. The Minchas Chinuch said, no, even if you hold that yichud with Chayve Lavim is yichud d'oraisa, but this woman is technically not usher. It's just the situation that's usher. I happen to have 18 wives. That could be a lesser of an isser, that even the Prisha would be moide, that since there's a heter li'isuro, that's not going to be a case of yichud d'oraisa on this case. So you could have a way out to understand the cheshbon of the Gemara, that this was all yichud d'pnuya up against Gerushin, up against Gerushin. So again, what's the Gemara statement? The Gemara is saying they were matir and Issa d'Rabbanan of Yichud. Why wasn't it Yichud d'Oraisa? That's one of the two explanations, either because there is no Yichud by someone who's Asur if it's not an Erva, We don't hold yichud by chayve lavin is even an isser d'oraisa. Only yichud by erva. And even if you hold, even by yichud by chayve lavin, even though she's not an erva, that's going to be yichud d'oraisa. Perhaps you can differentiate because over here there's a hetera li'isuro. There would be a waste theoretically through gerushin that I can now be mutter because she can become one of the 18 wives, and she's not an absolute isser. She's a situational isser, and that wouldn't have the isser d'oraisa of yichud.
Like the same thing, meaning this person's sister is, usher to them because
but that's always going to stay. That's always going to stay. So that's an erva. Yeah. So what's the Gemara saying? So yichud kama koshin gerushin, because yichud what? Because yichud they were matir, and what? And gerushin from the yudchet they were not matir. So here's my question. This is a question that the Mishnah Lamelech raises in Hilchos Gerushin. This isser to be megarish and isha shalo kahalacha, meaning what I mean by shalo kahalacha, meaning you didn't have the right reasoning to get to be megarish, which means according to Beis Shammai she wasn't promiscuous. According to Beis Hillel she didn't do any avla, but I did the get anyways. I said I don't care what Beis Shammai Beis Hillel says. I'm going to be megarish. The get's a good get. No one holds. It's against Rabbi Akiva, yeah. This Gemara L'chor is against Rabbi Akiva, right. So now I want to know, is that an Isser d'Oraisa or an Isser d'Rabbanan? So the Mishnah Lamelech and Hilchos Gerushin, Perek Yud Halacha Chaf Aleph says, a big chiddush. That whole Mishnah is not only not an Isser d'Oraisa, it's not only not an Isser d'Rabbanan, it was an Eitzah Tova. Beis Shammai was just saying, we think that when a person gets divorced, these are the good parameters, these are good reasons to get divorced, but it wasn't that it was usser for you to get divorced for any other reason. The Mishnah Lamelech says that he thinks he disagrees with the Knesset Hagdolah. He thinks that it's a full-fledged Isser d'Oraisa. The Gerushin takes effect, it's a good Gerushin, but it's a full-fledged Isser d'Oraisa. But then he says at the end of the piece in the Mishnah Lamelech, but I have a problem from Sanhedrin Chav Beis Amud Aleph. What's his problem from Sanhedrin Chav Beis Amud Aleph? His problem from Sanhedrin Chav Beis Amud Aleph is like this. The Gemara wants to say, Kama kosha gerushin. Because what? Because they were matir in Isser Yichud, and they weren't matir a gerushin. So says the Mishnah Lamelech, if one's an Isser d'Rabbanan, and one's an Isser d'Oraisa, is that a good argument to say, oh, gerushin's a horrible thing? No, it's not. We'd rather you violate the Isser d'Rabbanan than violate the Isser d'Oraisa. So ask the Mishnah Lamelech, that's a kasha on what I'm saying, that this Isser of being megarish shaloi kedin, or for shaloi l'tzayrech, and the last thing in Gittin is an Isser d'Oraisa. What do you mean? But then you drop the whole lashon of koshin gerushin because we opted with an Isser yichud as opposed to an Isser gerushin. No, that's not the reason. One's an Isser d'Oraisa, one's an Isser d'Rabbanan. Why is it an Isser d'Rabbanan? So that's what he explained. Because there wouldn't be a din of yichud min HaTorah over here for whatever reason. It wasn't also min HaTorah. But says in Mishnah Lamelech, this is a kasha on what I'm arguing. It's a raya brura like the Knesset Hagdolah that the Isser to be megarish for not a good reason is only an Isser d'Rabbanan at most, or maybe what? It's even just an Eitzah Tova, but it's not even an Isser to begin with. Says the Mishnah Lamelech, aval yesh l'taritz, and he leaves us hanging. He doesn't explain why. So Rabbi Yisai, there is a sefer Sanhedrin Tana. And the Margolius Hayam over here quotes the Sanhedrin Tana. He brings in something fascinating. Something that we discussed. There is a discussion amongst the Rishonim in the following situation. A person is a choyle on Shabbos. Choyle sheyesh bo sakon. The doctor said he needs to eat on the Shabbos meat. And the Rishonim discuss what's the best way for him to eat meat. He has two options. You can either shech the meat, or you can eat nevela meat. So the Rishonim discuss what's better for him to eat. To violate shchita for him, or this was like the Kushis HaRishonim, this was on the front page of the newspapers, all the Gedolim, the Ravid, the Rosh, the Maramberg, the Ran, all of them were chiming in on this shiloh. What's better for this guy to do if the doctor says he's got to eat meat, and we have two options in front of us. We can give him non-kosher nevela, or we can shech the animal and give him kosher food. So all the Rishonim agreed, and that's the way it's paskin in Shulchan Aruch and Siman Shin Chav Ches, that we should shech the meat on his behalf. But the Rishonim give very, very different reasons. And some of those reasons hold because Shabbos is hutra for pikuach nefesh, and we don't view that it's usher for you to do if you have a heter of pikuach nefesh, which was not accepted la'alacha. We paskin in Shulchan Aruch that Shabbos is tchuya, and we try to limit how much we have to violate if it's not necessary. That would be an issur d'oraisa, and we try to limit as much as possible. So other Rishonim say, no, it's because of the nature of the treif. And if he's going to have treif, he's going to find out about it, and his bubby's going to find out about it, and they're going to be sitting at the table, and his bubby's going to hear, what, you had treif, and his blood pressure is going to rise, and everything is going to, he's going to die anyways. So we don't want to give him treif because the result is not going to end well, says the Rosh. He's going to be makitz, and he's going to be disgusted, and he's going to be mistaken from it, and it's not going to work out. But that's not the opinion of the Ran. The Ran says something incredible. The Ran is mechadish the following. No, really, we should have given him we should really give him the nevela meat. Why? Because nevela is only an iser lav. Although it sounds horrible, it only gives you malchus as a punishment. But to violate Shabbos is an iser skil, and that's much more chomer than an iser lav. Yet says the Ran, that's in quality. But says the Ran, you're not considering quantity. And says the Ran the following chiddush. If I'm going to violate many different isurim kalim, as opposed to being over one isur chomer, that is part of the equation, and that's what the Gemara tells you. Don't feed him the isur if he's not necessary. Meaning we don't only look at the quality, we also look at the quantity. And I'd rather violate one big isur at one shot than to have many, many small isurim in the amount of kezesim that he's going to have when he's going to eat the nevela. Chiddush nifla of the Ran. Chiddush nifla of the Ran. Says the Sanhedrin Ktano, that's the cheshbin of our Gemara. I'd rather, what? Oh, so if Mark remembers, good second. So says the Sanhedrin Ktana, extend it to our Gemara, and even extend it to what? To Isurim D'Rabbanan. Now, if you understand that the Isser to be Megarish a woman is an Isser D'Rabbanan, so then it's Pashit. We'd much rather we Kama Koshim Gerishin. Why? Because we should have given you one Isser, and yet we gave you what? The Isser Yichud that you're over. Again and again and again, that according to the Ran, that's horrible. But says the Sanhedrin Ktana, I can answer the Mishnah Melech, that even if it's an Isser D'Oraisa to be Megari Shalo L'Tzorech, I'd rather you violate one Isser D'Oraisa than violate many Isurim D'Rabbanan. That's what he's Mechadesh from this Gemara. Why was I so excited when I found this Sanhedrin Ktana? Because we had a shaila in the shul with two people, with Elliot Teichman and Josh Abramson, before their wives delivered their children. I think it was 2 years ago. And what happened? They wanted to know they didn't unlock their phone before Shabbos. And they asked me, now that the phone's not unlocked, I have two options of how to unlock the phone. Do I? Oh, Givaldic. Careful. There's a lot going on this tonight. Rabbi Say, how do I unlock the phone? Do I put in the passcode, which means I'm violating closing a circuit 4 times, or do I put in my fingerprint 1 time? So without getting into all the details, we don't have the time to get into all the different things about fingerprints. Ayin Eitan Lipstein's delivery of his child, that was another shaila. That was the discussion, which one to do. Ultimately, our shaila was one Isser Chomer of doing it Kederech with a fingerprint, which would be more Chomer than doing it Shalo Kederech with a passcode for Shinuyim. That was our question. So the thing I wanted to argue was, does this apply to Yisurim D'Rabbanan as well? According to the Sanhedrin Ktana, he's saying our Gemara is a raya that it applies to Yisurim D'Rabbanan, which is very geshmak, but he's saying a much bigger chiddush. He's saying that it's not only one Durabanan versus many Durabanan, it's one Durabanan, it's many Durabonans versus a Doraisa. I wouldn't have said this much, and he's saying that I'd rather you violate one Doraisa of what? Of Gerushin, rather than violate Kama v'Kama Yichuds. Elamai, what does the Gemara say? Kama kosher gerushin that we didn't choose to. But intuitively, I would have instructed you to do that because, says the Sanhedrin Kadara, because of the Yesod of the Rab. Rabbi Isai, second connection to our Parsha. What's the second connection to our Parsha? Gevaldik. Rabbi Yonasan Eibeshit says something meridik. Rabbi Yonasan Eibeshit says, I don't understand. Avram Avinu gives Sarah to Para. He says, because maybe they're going to kill him. Right? So I'd rather tell them that she's not married to me because maybe they're going to kill me. Frekter of Yonesh, Zok the Medrash, Mikan Shemachil, there's a Medrash. Mikan Shemachilin Lechoila, Shchita Veloy Nevela. Mikan Shemachilin Lechoila. The Medrash that's regarding the discussion of the Rishonim. Frekter of Yonesh and Eibeshitz, a Medrash plea, what's the Medrash talking about? Zok the Yonesh and Eibeshitz, the Medrash Kasha was like this. Monavshach. If the Mitzrayim could not care less about Isurim, so if they don't care about what? If they don't care about killing you, so they're not going to care about Gili Arayus. So what do you have to tell them that you're not married to him? What do you care about? Zok, the Rabbi Yonasan Eibeshitz Gevaldik. No, they do care, but they can't give in to their taivas. So what are they going to do? They'd rather what? Violate one Isser. They'll shoot you on the spot, and then Paro doesn't have to live with her Isser again and again and again. Mikan l'shchita shemuteres l'choyle sheyesh bo sakana, exactly like Shitas Haran in this sugya and the Sanhedrin Ktana. So we have two words from this week's parsha that you could tell all your kids about Hagar not being mutter because she was Sharvita Shel Melech, and about Paro's cheshbon, about now wanting to kill instead of being over again and again.